Hej og velkommen til Data i Sport. Jeg er Christoffer, og jeg er din vært på denne podcast. I dag er jeg rigtig glad for at have Adam Almqvist med. Han arbejder blandt andet som videoanalytiker hos det svenske ishockeyforbund. Ligesom min snak med Pontus, der arbejder for det norske landshold, så skal jeg tale med Adam, hvordan han bruger dataanalyse til at støtte det svenske landshold og sikre, at selvfølgelig både spillerne og holdet som helhed er optimalt forberedt til deres kampe, og især her til det kommende VM. Men for at vi alle kan forstå vores samtale, slår nu lige over i engelsk og byder Adam velkommen. Adam, welcome to Data in Sport.
Thanks a lot, and thank you first of all for letting me be a part of this. It's always fun to talk with people using the word data.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully, what should we know about you?
Well, as you said, my name is Adam Almqvist. I'm 34 years old. I work for the Swedish Ice Hockey Association as a video analyst, and yeah, well, what should you know? I love technology. I love what it can help us with. But at the same time, I partly hate what it does to us. So when I work, I use it as much as I can.
Yeah.
Because I love what it can help me do. But when I'm off, I'm happy to live without it, just in the woods with my dog and 2 children and my wife. So yeah, I like technology, but I also like when it's quiet.
Yeah, that sounds like me also, I would say.
Yeah.
But how and why did you end up as a video analyst for the Swedish Ice Hockey Federation?
Well, first of all, I love the game. I mean, it's fast, it's hard. You win and lose together. So when you do something together, for me, it's worth putting more effort to it than if I do it myself. So I was a player, I was a referee at young age. I stopped playing at 21. I wish I would say it's because work or injury or something, but it was just that I was too bad.
Fair enough.
So I'm trying to teach others to be what I tried to do. I've been doing work for the Federation for the last 15 years, but for the last 5.5, it's full time. And before this season, I was with the men's team and the under 20 team. But this season, due to mostly family, I want to be home more. So I work with the under 17 guys, where I also started 15 years back. And it's a nice age to work with. They're not only learning to play hockey, they are teaching themselves to be a person too. It's always fun tournaments. But a long story short, it's just that I started working with my brother in his video company. I was still going to school, but he started the business, and we helped different sports out with video. It was new, so we like video coaches for cheerleading, tennis, hockey, football, whatever needed us for our camera. But we are hockey people, both me and my brother, and our father was a coach and a player. So,
okay.
So we are based in that sport, and the federation reached out to my brother, one of the video coach, I think was maybe 20 years back or something like that, maybe, yeah, something like that. And when they needed one more, I was there, and I knew the game, and I knew the software and the hardware to help them out. So that's where the journey started. So I have my brother to thank a lot for that, but hopefully I have done some good works to still be here.
Yes, of course. So you would say you have a natural curiosity for like technology and data, even though that you also like the sound of the forest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be the person that's afraid of new things, and I think just the word data is used everywhere. And if you Google it, it's like pieces of information. That's it, and that's not so. It's nothing to be afraid of. But when you hear data and you hear AI, and I want to be able to at least understand 1% of it, and I would say I do, not more, so I can develop myself. Just beside it or together. I don't want to be too far away from it. So maybe the fear of missing out is my generation's biggest, I don't know, work.
Mm.
You work hard to keep being in the business.
Yeah.
In some way.
Mm. I can totally understand that. And speaking of data, could you explain what types of data you essentially collect, and then how you would structure that for, as you mentioned, that you work as a video analyst, but maybe also for others?
Yeah, well, it's a fast-growing platform with all the data, and that I think the knowledge is a bit behind. The federation is trying to structure it by using a company called Sportlogic.
Mm-hmm.
So we always can connect the numbers video with a video, so we can make it understandable. So that's partly we just buy that from that company. So they structure it for us. For live tagging and work between games and etc. We are using another software called Dartfish, and there we can get our own data a little bit more. Even though Sportlogic gives us the API, so we can create numbers out of different positions or marks they have in the API. So we can do more with it, and we are doing it. But there is a lot of numbers, and to structure it, I would say Sportlogic help us a lot.
Okay. So you don't have, so for example, me as a data engineer where I work, I would get the data and then, create either a SQL database or data lake or something like that, and then build on top of that. So you use Sportlogic for all of that to make data useful for you.
Well, Sportlogic is the biggest company in hockey, so we want to be on the train, or how do you say? But we also, I save everything, because in 5 years maybe we don't want to use that software, but we still want to have the API, and we own our own API, so we save that for sure. And I have people around me that know coding better than me that can help me use the API in a different way. So if I want a number, let's say I want a position of where the pass is going to slot, I can create that with help from my data engineer from the API Sportlogic give us. So we can dig deeper with it, and we save it all for ourselves.
Yeah, so you have that future possibility to look into other aspects or whatever if needed.
Yeah, and I think that the future is not. I personally think you don't buy. You don't buy the system. I think in the future you can make the system, you can make the software, but you need the data. You need to save it somewhere, so you can draw conclusions from the last 5 years or similar. So we just save it on a hard drive, and let's see what happens.
Exactly. On a physical hard drive, and then store it. And then speaking of, again, talked a bit about it already, but like workflow wise. So the workflow is here that you gather data from Sportlogic, and then you use that to then prepare the national team, the coaches, the players on top of that data.
Well, yeah. Sportlogic gives us amount of numbers just in an email after the game. So for all the coaches, including myself, and then I can dig deeper and see something more and give that to the coaches so they can see it on video or do something with it if they want to. But we have like a statistic playbook along with our video playbook. So you need to have like the structure on what kind of numbers is important for your way of playing, because otherwise you get lost. So I use Sportlogic to I use all of the numbers to like see which numbers matches our way of playing and see where are the key numbers for us, and then I dig deeper into those, and if something sticks out good or bad, we should change it in practice. Otherwise, don't use the number.
Yeah. And further on that, now go into the pre-preparation and the live and the post-game here. So when you say, for example, in preparation for the team, do you then have specific statistics, KPIs, as it's called in large corporations that you use?
Well, yeah, we have a couple of numbers that we always look at. I mean, we have a dashboard. What we think is important, like in the slot shots, and not only the amount of slot shots, more like how do we create opportunity to have a slot shot, and how do we do it as often as possible.
Okay.
I don't know if that's answer your question, but
yeah,
a little bit maybe.
Yeah. So what would be your top three, for example?
Top three. I would say maybe not everyone should have this on their top three, but I would say individual eyes. I mean, this shifts length, because I can see it correlates with like go scoring chances for and again. So if over time, if you stay on the ice too long, you will not have the energy to do your best. It's very basic, but often I think you go for a deeper number, something cooler, but it's still, you need to have the energy and you can't stay on your shift too long. I always watch that number.
Yeah.
And I think it's a big key for all the other numbers to go on a green light. So I would have that. And inner slot shots or slot shot, I would say that you need to have like a respectable high amount of those in every game, depending on who you face, of course, the opponent. But you need to be able to create chances in that area. And it could change who you are facing or in what kind you want to take the puck there. If you want to go deep before and high and low, and that doesn't matter. Just get the puck there.
And how is, now you say, like, for example, a dashboard, is that then presented to the coaching staff and the players, or do they have their own sort of view, so it's only for the coaching staff and then something different for the players?
Yeah, this is only for the coaching staff. We can give players numbers if they want to, but they don't get a lot. Some are interested in seeing more, and I would just take a guess here. I think centermen basically are more interested because they have a game in the game. They have the percentage of winning faceoffs, so they are more open to the next number after.
Okay.
When you're talking to them, but yeah.
Yep. And is there, now we talk about a lot about, of course, data, but data comes from video. So is it primarily your source in the preparation phase? Is that the data comes primarily from video, or do you have other sources as well?
No, video is our main source. I mean, from the video, we do live tagging, so we get a live report during the game, and of course the summary after the game, and we connect it with Sportlogic numbers, and we it depends on what the coaching staff want to focus on for that tournament. If we want to go on these kind of numbers or not, or more individually or team based, or so you need to have that game plan as a video analyst with the other coaches.
Yeah.
We have a special, I mean, we are not like a team in a league where you have like 50 games during a season facing the same team sometimes. So we have different teams, different guys with us, with the same jersey, but that's it.
Yeah.
And we are facing different teams every time. So I try to, I mean, our numbers are more compared to the opponent in the same game, the same tournament, than history based.
Yeah. And how is that data wise? How do you move around that or work with that, that you don't play like a league teams, the same opponent again and again, so you have some sort of history? How do you then move around that, or how do you work with that?
I mean, sometimes I think that scouting wise the numbers can help us, because I can get numbers of our next opponent during a world championship, and I can see that they want to create chances in this way of playing, and then are we going to be able to play our game against this, or do we need to change something in our game to be able to face what they're good at? So that's maybe how I use the numbers in short terms. If I maybe PDO or even course, it would be good to take a look at if you are in a league. I wouldn't be the right person to ask, but I never looked at those kind of numbers because we don't have we don't have the data ground for it. We don't have the games that I think it needs to be worth something.
Yeah, makes sense. And now moving into the kind of the live analysis, do you have open question here? Do you have insights during the game?
Yeah. When you have the Hawkeye, I usually see it up in the stands. You see things differently.
Yeah.
During World Cups and different tournaments, we have a direct line to the bench, so we can say something if we want to, and that could be. We always keep on track on the face-off, how in different circles, of course, but shift lengths could be one thing, or the opponents change their game, they don't forward check as we plan, they would be. And those things I see much faster than the coaches on bench.
Okay.
So that's the insight, and that's more like a coaching eye insight than numbers.
Yeah, exactly. So do you have an example of how, as you mentioned, that the opponent changes the strategy, and then you buy either or data can see, okay, now we need to switch our approach to the match because they have done something differently. Do you have a concrete example?
I don't have a concrete example like for a game you can see during the World Cup, but just last week when we traveled with the under 17, I can see that we thought the Czech guys would exit their zone in a way, but they changed it. So I wanted to talk to the guys on the bench, but we didn't have the connection for that game because we were focused on other things, and we were not that many coaches during the tournament, so they didn't have the time. But I would have called down and said that we need to change this, but they do. It's just that maybe I see it before them because they have other things to do on the bench.
And that's also for each opponent, do you stick with the same, as you mentioned before, like top 3 KPIs, whatever, or do you change them dependent on the opponent as well?
Well, yeah, and I mean the top 3 is just a result of the way we think we're going to play. I mean the entry, the D zone exits, they're more important than just the slot shot attempts. But they need to be in our way of playing to get as many shots as we want in that area. So if you take a number, you will always get 5 to 10 more to have the whole flow. So yeah, it can change depending on who we are facing. And I mean, if we are facing a team that are thinking the same, of course we want to turn around the numbers and see how do we stop them from doing it in our D zone. But that would be a key point just for that game.
And how do you, post-game wise, do you, after, I know that the World Cup is very, very tight, so maybe not a lot of room for, post-match analysis. But how does that look, like data-wise?
Well, I'm sitting right now watching for the whole year on the under 17 guys that I've been following for 5 tournaments, and I'm trying to find key numbers for us to win next year because we will have the same group. We will follow the coaching staff will follow them under 18, and our exam, or call it that, would be the under 18 World Championship. So I want to dig deep on the numbers, both individually and team based. On are we gonna play as we play, or are we gonna change anything? Depending on what types of player we have in the team, because I think that's a big key for us. You can have a playbook video-wise and statistics, but if you don't have like the players for it, you need to change the way of playing. Let's say you get the 2 first centermen injured, you will not have the same offensive plays. So you need to change anything. And I I want to see if we have the playbooks right now that is right for the players we have. And it's pretty hard because they are in an age where they develop fast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let's see if I get some insight. I don't know yet.
Fair enough. In progress. And speaking of that, you also have now the under 17s and also been with the national team. How do players generally respond to this data coming towards them like a massive train? You know, we talk about in enterprises and other companies like data driven. But how is it generally with players?
Well, I think the players are very data driven, if you call it that. It's just that don't put the word data in it because they won't listen.
Fair.
Just keep it simple. I mean, the word data is used all over, but it's like I told you before, it's like a small piece of information, and that's nothing to be worried about. So talk to them about what is happening on video. And well, I saw that you lost 10 face-up. You want to take a look at them?
Nope.
There you have data. You have the video, and you have the numbers, and it doesn't have to sound so hard. And you learn as a coach to create the right way of talking to the players. And of course, for me, it's pretty hard because I have the players for so short term, maybe just 1 week, and I need to learn how they want their data. But the younger generation is more open. I use WhatsApp a lot.
Okay.
I create clips individually to send them to the guys or send them to a team chat. And here's the practice. We focus on this sport check. Here's the result. You should have been there. You should have done that. But this is very good. And they have it on their phone. It's like this is the way they teach themselves to grow up right now. They're on their phone a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And we need to connect with that. So I'm using WhatsApp a lot. I mean, it's free, and I can just send them an MP4 of what I need them to take a look at when they are open to it.
Yeah.
Because when I grew up, I'm not that old, but it wasn't. We weren't talking about you were open or not during a meeting. You had a meeting, it was 1 hour, sit and listen, and that I would love that to happen again in some way, but it won't. So if I would try to be that kind of coach, I wouldn't be so long term in the business. We need to work together.
Yeah, of course. How do you see the development of data usage at the national team level going forward in the future?
Well, more meaning to the numbers you choose. With that being said, I would like AI to show us what's most important in real time. And if it could connect human behavior and facial expression, that would be fun to see. As much as I want to see what it can give us, I'm a little bit afraid of that taking away the heart of the game. But I think there is a possibility we will be there. And in the science speaking terms, I would love to be able to see that kind of data to dig into. But as a sport, as a hockey person, I would love to just let the game be. So I think the development of the data and how we use it in the future is a little bit open to ourselves. But the technology, I see that's going to be no issue.
Yeah.
The knowledge of using it is going to be the problem.
And there you see, of course, new technologies, as everybody's talking about AI, to assist in knowing what to look at essentially.
Yeah, but they can. I tried it myself, like just using my own ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot or something similar. They can help me right now, but I don't know what it gives me sometimes. I think it's better than me. We're too far apart, AI and me, and hopefully it stays that way. But yeah, maybe it can get better. And then partly my work is to, of course, and people like me in the business, we need to train AI to tell them what's right and wrong in the way of seeing hockey, and then it can help us see something faster than we can. But we need to train them first.
Exactly, and that be the last comment for today. Adam, thank you very much for sharing your insights. It was truly fascinating to hear how your data video analysis are used at the Swedish national team. So I really appreciate your taking your time to share your knowledge.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thank you.
Og til dig, der lytter med derude, så håber jeg, at du fik lidt indsigt i, hvordan andre af vores hockeynationer, de udnytter potentialet i data gennem videoanalyse. Vi lyttes ved.